And here is the video review for the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron X-Wing with Luke and R2-D2. Before we take a look at the fighter itself, we'll take a look at the minifigs. So, yeah, get your legs straight there. So, well, that's the brightness. Why aren't you focusing? Alright, there we go. As you can see, come on. There is the micro figure itself. Detailing is pretty good for the scale. Like, you can't really tell that it's Luke himself, but it does look like an X-Wing pilot. But yeah, for the scale, I can't complain too much. There's the front. Come on. Yeah. There is the back. As far as articulation goes, his arms can move upwards. They seem to be on the same joint. And the legs can move them upwards and about that far back before it feels like the plastic stressing. Just enough so you're able to get them to sit into the cockpit. And as far as R2 goes, he's got no articulation on him at all. Does have a peg in the bottom. But yeah, he's just a little astromech. Now, as far as the X-Wing itself goes, we'll put the pilots off to the side for now. It is a fairly detailed little X-Wing. It's got some nice weathering on it. It's got 3 landing gear, which we can fold away. These two go like that. We'll worry about that in a second. And this one folds away like that. There is the X-Wing in flight mode. We got a spot up top for an astromech. We'll go and put R2 in there right now. He just slots in like so. Yeah. Then there is a button on the bottom here. Much like with the Yoda TIE Fighter, if you press up on that, it will push R2 up, and you can easily remove him. Keep him in there for now. And we have the cockpit here, which does open. Here you can get a good look at the interior of the fighter. And we'll go and take our pilot figure and stick him on the inside. Close him up. There we can see him through the glass, piloting the X-Wing. Now, the only other feature on here is that you can pop the cockpit open, apparently, but you can lock the S-foils in attack position, thus making it look like an X shape, because it is an X-Wing. And you can make it fly. Whatever. That is basically it for this fighter. The wings do again close, but whenever I've found I'm closing them, they do like to lean to one side, and then you gotta like manually reset it so then it's actually center. And then for getting the landing gear out, they have these hooks at the bottom. So put your fingernail in. And what I've noticed with this front landing gear, when you go to deploy it, does split the cockpit a little, or like the nose of the ship a little bit before it comes all the way out. Don't seem to have these problems with the back landing gear, but they are again on the same hook system where you just put your fingernail on there and they just come out. And that just about does it for Luke's X-Wing. But again, see, by putting the landing gear out, I've knocked the wings off center. Just recenter that. And there you go. For size comparison, we will bring in Yoda's Jedi Starfighter here. These are a different class of ship, but this is one that I've previously reviewed. And as you can see, Luke's X-Wing is considerably bigger. Like that. About 2 ship lengths of Yoda's Starfighter. And let's see if I can grab it from here for my current display. Here we have it compared to a TIE fighter. Now, I went into this toy line thinking that these ships were going to be in scale, but I don't think TIE fighters were meant to be this big compared to X-Wings. I'm not too sure about that. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but this X-Wing just seems a bit too big, and especially if we look to other Wave 2 ships, like Bo-Katan's Gauntlet Fighter. I don't think they're all in scale, so that's a major drawback for me for this line. I think the X-Wing should be a little bit bigger compared to, say, the TIE Fighter here. But as far as the TIE Fighter, as far as the X-Wing goes, it's a good little ship. And I'm glad to have bought one from this line. And that just about does it for my coverage of this figure. There is a chase variant of this ship, though, where the ship itself is, as far as I can tell, exactly the same. And R2 is the same, but instead of getting Luke in his X-Wing pilot gear, you get him in his Jedi Knight gear from Episode 6. I wasn't able to find that chase, though. But it is out there. But as far as I can tell, the ship itself is the exact same. The only difference is the pilot figure. That just about does it for my review of the Luke's X-Wing Starfighter from the Micro Galaxy Squadron Starfighter class. Yeah. I guess I'm signing off.